guys, it's Brittany. Just wanted to say thanks for tuning in if you're jumping in live. I posted earlier that I've been wanting to share with you guys some of the things that I think that you should bring to the hospital and have in your hospital bag if you are getting ready to deliver a baby. And, you know, because you look online and there's so many lists and bring this and not that and bring this for a C-section or bring this for a vaginal. And I brought way too much stuff. And which leaving or bringing too much stuff means I left with so much stuff because people brought gifts and flowers and you have your food and the stuff that the hospital brings you. And so I thought I would just kind of share with you, having just gone through this, what was super helpful for me and Hayden and Matthew and what we could have done without. And just to preface, this ring sling is not hooked up correctly. I just have her in here so I can rock her and pat her little butt. She's kind of ready to eat, but I wanted to make sure we got this done tonight. So I just wanted to share for in the hospital for mom, like what to bring for while, you know, post or pre and post. So just a few things that I would suggest maybe. I really wish I would have brought a heating pad to bring before. I had really bad back labor. And if I would have just had like a simple heating pad, that would have been so great. The hospital didn't have one, but she jimmied one up for me, which it really was helpful. So if you have just like a portable little heating pad, that might be something useful for you. And then make sure you have a huge cup for ice chips. My little styrofoam one kept running out so fast, and they can only fill so much. So it would have been nice to have a bigger cup to have more ice chips to last longer. I think that was really it, like for during labor. Maybe some entertainment depending on what kind of labor you have. I watched a good amount of television for the first few hours, so thank God there was an SVU marathon going. So maybe your iPad, a phone, and just something to think about and kind of keep your mind off the early pain. So once you're post, you have the baby, what would I recommend to have in your bag? And number one thing is I would bring your own pillow. After the night, you know, staying in the hospital and the morning of in the hospital, the pillows were just awful. So I would recommend bringing your own pillow. Once my mom showed up with my pillow, I slept so much better. I was so much more comfortable in bed. So I would definitely recommend your pillow. I definitely recommend your phone charger, but also an extension cord, because your phone charger only goes so far. So then if you're in bed and at 3 a.m. you're feeding or you're trying to stay awake or you're bored because you can't sleep because you're a new mom like me, even though I have 2 kids, I was still a nervous wreck in the hospital. So having that extension cord got my phone to my bed so I could do what I need to do in the middle of the night. A nice camera. I almost forgot that. If you want better pictures than just your phone, so I would do a nicer camera. A robe was so helpful because nursing bra and a robe. So instead of having to put pants on and a nursing shirt or a shirt or whatever, I just put on a nursing bra and then I put on a robe. And the robe was long enough that it covered. It was big enough where it covered my postpartum belly, because you will still have a belly. So that was super helpful. Instead of having like shirts and shorts and stuff like that, it was just more comfortable to have a robe, which made it super easy to nurse in. I just could undo the top and pull down my nurse and do the nursing bra, and I still had long sleeves on my arms, and I was still somewhat covered if I had guests come in. Or the nursing staff and all that stuff, so you weren't like full on out there. And then I just covered up the bottom half with the blanket. So I would recommend nursing bras or a nursing tank top and a robe. I picked up like just a regular robe at Target and just got a size bigger. And then nursing bras and tanks I actually found on Amazon, and super cheap but helpful. So I would recommend that. Nipple cream, because especially if you're a first time mom and you've never nursed or pumped before, your nipples are gonna feel a little chapped. They might hurt, so the nipple cream is gonna feel really good. You can also get these cooling gel pads. I used them when I got home, but you could also bring them in the hospital and keep them in the refrigerator in your room, and that will just help you feel just a little bit more comfortable and kind of give your nipples a break, and that'll feel nice and cool on them. I want to make sure I have my list. Oh, socks to walk around in. So like those socks with the slippery stuff on the bottom. You'll get the hospital ones, but those are really big and bulky. So I just grabbed like little ones that were just ankle socks that had little grippies on the bottom. But for you to get up and walk around the room, those were comfortable to walk around to push the baby in the crib. I did bring my makeup and I did put it on. Matthew and I chose to stay in the hospital till Friday. We had Hayden Wednesday morning. So I did use it Thursday and Friday, and it just made me feel so good. Like, it sounds, kind of in vanity, but when you're sitting in the hospital and you have the hospital gown on, or maybe you haven't showered in a day or two, having that makeup, just, a quick foundation and some mascara, I felt like $1 million. So bring some face wipes. I didn't necessarily use my face wash. I used face wipes, like stuff that I could just quick wipe my face off with a couple times a day. That just kind of made me feel a little bit more refreshed and awake and clean, and dry shampoo. So I was kind of paranoid. I don't want to say paranoid, but I didn't want my hair like curly in this big hot mess. So I just made sure I had it blow dried and straight. And then that way when I was in the hospital, I just had dry shampoo and I could put it in a ponytail, put it up, wear it down, and it looked somewhat decent. So I didn't, and this is not that you have to you have to be this beautiful person after you give birth, but it made me feel so much better. I just felt more confident. I just felt pretty. And I think after you give birth and you go through that, like, it's good to feel that way. Especially because you do have those first photos and I look back at those and I feel beautiful and I look beautiful and I don't look at myself and nitpick myself away. So those were things that I had in my toiletry bag that were super helpful. Deodorant, spray deodorant, or I use deodorant wipes as well. Those were helpful. A list of who to contact if you don't have your phone or something happens. I had sent my best friend's numbers to my husband for him to have, so that way my phone wasn't going off all the time and he could update them for me. So I could rest during labor, or I could just relax and he could handle the text messages, or after Hayden was born, he could kind of take on that task as well, which was helpful, so that your phone wasn't blowing up and you could rest when baby rested. Thank you. She is a gem. She's super sweet. Snacks. I wish I would have brought more snacks with me. I was starving after I had Hayden, and thankfully my team knew that, so they had lunch for me right away, and the bar of water and apple juice and everything. But I would have your husband or someone who's coming to visit you right after you have the baby bring you some trail mix or almonds, or whatever kind of snacks you like. Like, I'm a big trail mix person, or Larry and Lenny's dairy-free vegan protein cookies are another good one that I had. I brought my Shakeology with me and had that in a packet. But snacks, I wish I would have had more almonds or trail mix or something, because when you're up, we got to the hospital Tuesday at 5 p.m. and I did not sleep probably until Thursday afternoon. And I wish I would have had more snacks, because they only give you so much food for breakfast, lunch, and Matt wasn't jumping out and going anywhere really, and so I wish I would have brought more snacks. So pack some almonds or snack packs or something in your bag that won't get bad, or have someone bring you up a bottle of water, like a couple Smart Water liter bottles. That was super helpful. Pediatrician's number, make sure you have that on your phone, because they're going to ask and you have to fill some stuff out, so make sure you have that. Okay, and then we're going to get to kind of the nitty-gritty stuff. When I was in there, the hospital gives you a spray, but I brought with me it's called Dermoplast, and it's hospital strength for burn, itch, and pain. It was super helpful, so they'll give you one, but I would definitely order this so that you have it in your hospital bag in case your hospital doesn't provide it, but then you also have it at home. The other thing is they're going to give you this water bottle, a spray bottle like this, like a squirt bottle. Ask for another one, because especially if you have a bathroom upstairs, downstairs, I kept having to bring this up and down, up and down, up and down, so it was really annoying. So before you leave or go to the store or something, so you have 2 of these or 3 and put them in each bathroom, because every time you go to the bathroom after you have a baby, you need this. It's your godsend. It's going to be super helpful. So make sure you have that, or ask them at the hospital for another one. trying to make sure I didn't miss anything. I think that's all that I would recommend to bring with you for you. Oh, bring something to wear home. So I grabbed nursing bras, nursing tank tops, and a robe, but I didn't grab anything for me to wear home from the hospital when we left. So I had to have my mom bring me up a maxi dress. So just something that I wore during pregnancy, just a maxi dress, and just wore that home. So make sure you have that. What did I bring for baby? Don't worry about wipes. Don't worry about diapers. They're going to give you all that. They'll give you pacifier. They'll give you some swaddle blankets. They're the thick ones. But I brought Hayden those Adam and Anna's swaddle blankets because they're a little bit softer. So we brought those long sleeve onesies. They have like the t-shirt kind because the umbilical cord is still on there. So they have those. But if you want to change them into something else, long sleeve onesie with the little cuffs on them so that you can keep their hands warm. Perfect. Their going home outfit, even if you don't know if it's a boy or girl, I brought one for each, so they had that. If you have a cute hat, if you know what you're having, I have loved seeing people who know what they're having and know the name, and they have these cute little hats to wear or blankets. I've seen blankets that are personalized, and I think those are really cute. We didn't know what we were having, so we didn't have any of that. But I think that stuff is really cute, and it's special, and it's those special moments that you don't get back. So maybe look into that if you know what you're having and you know the name. Also bring any hat, like newborn hats. Our hospital was great, and they gave us a really cute one. But maybe baby mittens if you don't want the onesies with the sleeves on them and the cuffs on them. I brought a bottle in case we needed it, and I'm so glad we did. We ended up having to give her an ounce of expressed milk because she did not pee for 24 hours, so we had to make sure that we knew she was intaking. So I'm really glad I brought a bottle that I wanted her to learn to use so that she had exposure to that and not something that the hospital had. If your baby is formula fed, if you have a specific formula, I would bring that. I know the hospital does have some, but if you are specific on a brand that you want, then bring that as well. A boppy pillow. I didn't bring a boppy pillow, and I so wish I would have brought a boppy pillow. There are this brand, it's called the Nursing Pillow, and it's a little bit smaller than a boppy, and this is what I've been using to nurse Hayden versus the big boppy pillows. This has been a little bit smaller, it fits around my waist a little bit better, and she fits on it better. So I would Google the Nursing Pillow and look into that. Bring your pump. If you are not familiar with how to use your pump or how the phalanges should fit if you plan on pumping, this isn't like something that you have to bring because you can always make an appointment with the lactation consultant at the hospital after you have your baby, because a lot of lactation consultants will not recommend pumping until 4 weeks when you've established your supply and the baby's kind of gotten in a rhythm. So, but I would bring it. If you're unfamiliar with a pump, I'd bring it and ask questions and see what they have to say. Or they do have a hospital grade pump. So if it's something that you're interested in or need to learn about, make sure you ask. I had to ask for a pump and ask for that stuff. Even if you're not going to pump right away in the hospital, ask for it because they gave me a bunch of bottles to use. They gave me a set of Medela phalanges to use, or phalanges to use, and those things are expensive. So it was kind of nice to have a set from the hospital to use. Mittens, hat, swaddle blankets. I think that's all I brought for baby. And then for at home, so I'm almost done, I promise. For at home, make sure you have breast pads, whether they're disposable ones or I am using reusable ones from Amazon. They're just like an organic cotton. I should have brought one down. But breast pads can be so expensive and you go through them so fast. And I learned that with the twins. So I just brought reusable ones and I just wash them and they're great and they work just as well. But you can kind of save some money on that. Nursing bras, nursing tank tops. The other thing is in the hospital, you're going to get the beautiful, the mesh underwear that they give you for post-baby. And I know that it's not the most flattering thing, but it is the most comfortable thing after you give birth. I've had a C-section and a vaginal, and those things rocked for either birth. So I even asked for 2 extra bags when I left the hospital. I asked them for some because I know that I really liked them after I had the twins. And so they were just easy. You didn't, get mess of your own underwear, which I would also recommend making sure you have just a regular set of underwear if you don't wear, full behind underwear. I recommend getting a pair because you're going to be more comfortable in those postpartum. So but make sure you ask for extra mesh to bring home. Make sure you have large pads. I always made sure I had some when I got home. When you get home from these, and make sure you get the really big ones because you'll need them, whether you have a vaginal or a C-section. And then I also would make sure that you had panty liners for when you stop bleeding. I had to ask my husband to go get these, and he brought me the wrong ones, and so it was kind of a task for me to go get these. But make sure you also have smaller ones because as you progress in your healing, you'll just need these. So they're just nice to have on hand. Make sure you have, like I said, the Dermoplast. This was super helpful. The other thing that was really helpful were these Witch Hazel cleansing pads. And again, I just got both of those on Amazon, and they were delivered in like a day. But I put these on top of my pads, and these were just really helpful to clean and to help with the pain as well. I had stitches, so this was good to clean the stitches and keep them clean. I don't know exactly how they would help if you had a C-section, because I can't really remember. But those were two things that were really helpful to post-vaginal birth. Motrin, make sure you have Motrin. I was taking 800 milligrams of Motrin for the pain, the stitches mostly. So if you don't have stitches, you might not need it. But that was very useful for me. Something silly, but Matt and I have this really big bed, and it's kind of a pain in the butt to step into. And after a few days, I was still really, really sore, and I didn't understand why. But I was doing this huge, giant step into our bed. So I took one of the kids' step stools and put that to my bed so that I was just taking baby steps and climbing into bed instead of doing this big step. So if you have a larger bed, it sounds silly, but it was so helpful to have that step stool there. So I recommend getting that for your bedroom. An extra squirt bottle. Easy snacks for you to access. So again, like almonds, trail mix. Make sure your fruit is cut up. Make sure you have like bananas, apples, things that you can eat while you're nursing, or things that you can just grab and go. Because that's really, if you think you're going to have time to make, or you think your spouse is going to be able to help you, but it just makes things go so much faster if you can just quick grab things. So make sure you have like a little stash of that. I made like oat pancakes before I had her, or some muffins. Those were easy, good breakfasts. Hard-boiled eggs are another great snack to have, full of protein. You can have that nice and easy. Crackers, cheese and crackers, lunch meat. That's been my lunch for a while. Like whole grain crackers with some hard-boiled eggs, some cheese, and some lunch meat with a side of fruit. So just make sure you have those easy snacks so that you can stay fueled and full the whole day. And then make sure you have some bottled water in your fridge, even if you have a cup. If that cup is empty and no one's here to help you, or you have to rush and you just need to, you're leaving fast, or you just want to grab a cup of or a glass of water because she's ready to nurse, or he's ready to nurse. It's just nice and convenient, and I'm all about convenience when there's a baby and yourself involved to make sure that you guys are healthy and happy. I'm trying to think. I think that's really it that I can think of that I've used religiously. Hand sanitizers in our house, have it in her room, have it in the living room, diaper bags, things like that. So that's been another one. Teaching your kids and talking to your kids about the importance of hand sanitizer and not coughing on the baby and things like that have been really helpful for us too before she was born. I think that's really it. So not a ton, and it's not stuff that's like crazy you have to go buy, but it's really helpful to all have in one spot, or to just know what to expect. And I had, I don't know, some of you may have listened to my birth story, so it was, not the easiest. It was 19 hours and pushed for an hour and a half, and I have 3 stitches, and so I was in a little bit more pain than maybe somebody else, and it was my first vaginal delivery. But I think having these things on hand just in case was super helpful. Also, don't be afraid to take a bath if it is painful. That bath will help clean and fight infection and just kind of help with inflammation. That was really, really, really good to know that I could do after a day or two, is just to sit into an inch or two of water and just relax for 10 or 15 minutes. No soap, just, warm to hot water, and just sit and relax for a second. But that was really it. I hope you guys find this helpful. I know it can be really overwhelming to log on to Google and find out what to put in your hospital bag, and there's this and there's that. But, make sure you have your insurance card, make sure you have your license, and make sure you have a baby name. we went in with a boy or a girl name, but kind of talk to your spouse. And that's one other thing. I'm glad I brought that up. When you go into labor and your expectations, make sure you talk to your spouse. Matt and I didn't really do a whole lot of chatting as far as how I wanted him to help me through labor. He knew that as far as epidural and episiotomy and that kind of stuff, he was my cheerleader, but he couldn't help me through labor. I wanted no one to touch me. I didn't want anyone to talk to me. When I was actually going through the 19 hours of labor, I just wanted to go through it, and I just wanted to, get through the contraction. He would touch me, and I'd be like, just go away. Just go away. And it wasn't to be mean. It wasn't because he wasn't helpful. It was just how I wanted to go through labor. It was, when I was having Braxton Hicks and when I was having contractions at home, it was the same thing. I'd have a contraction, and I was just quiet, and I breathed through it, and I don't want anyone to talk to me or anyone to touch me. I just needed to get through it. So make sure you talk to your spouse and make sure he understands what his role and what you need from him through this process, because it's really hard. I could see it in Matt's face. It was really hard for him to sit there, watch me be in so much pain and not really know how he could help me. So make sure you talk to your spouse and just make sure you guys are on the same page as what role he can play in. And then, when labor came and we were time to push, he jumped in and he was my number one cheerleader and my coach, and he was just fantastic. So just make sure you talk to your spouse. But thanks for listening, you guys. I'm going to post a graphic in the comments of this so that you guys can have it and save it. It just goes over, what I had for in hospital for mom, in hospital for baby, and then at home for mom. So hopefully you guys was helpful. If you have questions, feel free to private message me. I'm an open book, and I'm so blessed to be able to share this journey with you, and I appreciate you guys tuning in. So have an awesome night, and Hayden and I will see you guys later.